assassination on my life.
What?
Man, all right.
Why'd you hit him? Did he attack you first with the self-defense, or did you hit him?
Man, I walked down the street. The man approached me with a gun.
Where's his gun at?
Once an NBA starter, playing right alongside LeBron James, Delonte West's life story has tragically morphed into a heartbreaking cautionary tale about how swiftly fame can vanish. And trust me, it's just taken an even darker turn.
Right, does it like it's like the same, any better? Just
No, it's a struggle for him. I mean, addiction is awful, and mental illness is awful, and he's at the point in his life where he's got to want to be helped.
New jail footage shows the former NBA star hitting another gut-wrenching low point in his brutal fight with addiction and mental health. His latest arrest marks yet another painful relapse, and what actually caused it might be even sadder than anyone truly realized. So, let's talk about the night everything unraveled. On a seemingly ordinary November evening in 2025, the life of former NBA player Delonte West took yet another devastating turn, one that would send shockwaves through the entire basketball community and reignite crucial conversations about mental health, addiction, and the brutal reality facing some retired athletes. What went down on that fateful night in Fairfax County, Virginia, wasn't just another arrest statistic. It was a stark, painful reminder of how far one man had plummeted from the dizzying heights of professional basketball, and how the relentless demons of bipolar disorder and substance abuse continued to wage war against someone who once played shoulder to shoulder with LeBron James. The incident itself occurred on November 3, 2025, right near the intersection of Fairhaven Avenue and Richmond Highway in Fairfax County. It was around 10 o'clock at night when a concerned bystander made a call that would set this whole tragic chain of events in motion. They had discovered a man, later identified as the 42-year-old West, lying unconscious on the street, completely unresponsive, and as initial reports terrifyingly described, not breathing at all. The response was immediate and urged Fairfax County Police and emergency medical services raced to the scene, where they found West in what could only be described as a truly life-threatening condition. Officers and paramedics quickly assessed the situation, and what they discovered painted a grim picture. West was breathing, but barely, and he was in such a severe state of intoxication that he was utterly unable to care for himself, or even communicate coherently with the first responders who were desperately trying to save his life. The medical team made a critical decision in those first crucial moments, suspecting a potential opioid overdose. They administered Narcan, or naloxone, that emergency medication specifically designed to rapidly reverse the effects of opioid overdose. The drug worked quickly, and West thankfully regained consciousness. But here's the kicker: what happened next would complicate an already dire situation, and ultimately lead to his arrest. Despite being revived and now conscious enough to communicate, West repeatedly refused transport to a hospital for further evaluation and treatment. The police described him as highly intoxicated and clearly unable to care for himself safely in such a vulnerable state, especially on a busy highway area. Officers found themselves in an impossible position. They had a man who desperately needed medical attention, but was refusing. A man whose level of impairment made him a direct danger to himself if left alone. The law gave them limited options, and due to his extreme impairment and his unwavering refusal to accept medical help, officers determined that West posed a genuine danger to himself. So, they made the difficult decision to take him into custody for his own safety. He was arrested on 2 charges: public intoxication and obstruction, specifically resisting arrest without force. That second charge, a misdemeanor, stemmed directly from his non-compliance with their efforts to get him the medical assistance he so desperately needed. The arrest itself occurred without any physical resistance or violent incident, but the image of the former professional athlete being taken into police custody painted a truly tragic picture that would soon capture national attention. West was transported to a local jail for processing, and in a system that often moves quickly for minor offenses, he was released on bond shortly after, either on the same day or within just a few hours. When Fairfax County Police provided direct statements to media outlets like TMZ, they were incredibly clear about the circumstances. The official statement revealed that they received a call for service regarding a male found unconscious and not breathing, and that upon arrival, West was indeed breathing but highly intoxicated. He was arrested for his own safety after refusing hospital transport. They emphasized that Narcan was administered out of an abundance of caution for what appeared to be a suspected opioid overdose. But let me tell you, this wasn't an isolated incident. Far from it. This November 2025 arrest represented a deeply disturbing pattern, marking West's third arrest in Fairfax County in just over a year. Back in November 2024, he had been arrested for trespassing in a restricted area. And even more concerning, in June 2024, he faced charges for violating release conditions and resisting arrest, an incident that also involved the administration of Narcan after he was found unresponsive following a police chase. The recurring theme was impossible to ignore: a man trapped in a vicious, relentless cycle of substance abuse, mental illness, and repeated encounters with law enforcement. Each arrest seemed to follow the same heartbreaking script: West found in a compromised state, often requiring emergency medical intervention, refusing help, and then facing minor criminal charges that did absolutely nothing to address the root causes of his spiral. Mark Cuban, the Dallas Mavericks owner who has repeatedly tried to help West, has been incredibly vocal about the harsh realities of addiction and mental illness.
Have you reached out to him? Have you talked to Delonte? Have you seen him in a period of time?
I haven't seen Delonte, but Delonte and I had some really good interactions in the rookie transfer program. We were actually in the same group. So I was able to see the brilliance in him. Mm-hmm. He's actually a brilliant individual, and it's just tough to see. It's really tough to see. It's really tough to speak about because it's just two sides. Like, we can help him a little bit more, right, but at the same time, he got to help himself. So I know Mark Cuban did a beautiful gesture to try to help him out a little bit, and he's going to keep guys trying to help him. But we got to meet in the middle, right? And hopefully we can.
Now, Cuban's words really hit home, capturing the raw frustration felt by everyone who's ever tried to pull West out of his downward spiral. He basically said, you can throw all the resources in the world at someone, but deep down, recovery needs that person to truly want it. The basketball community, as you can imagine, reacted with a heavy mix of sadness, frustration, and honestly, a lot of resignation. Dive into social media and you'll see fans who've watched this heartbreaking decline for years, many just openly admitting they've lost all hope after seeing so many intervention attempts crash and burn. Others were quick to highlight systemic failures, the shocking lack of mental health support for retired athletes, the endless loop of the criminal justice system, and the truly insufficient treatment options for folks battling both bipolar disorder and substance abuse at the same time. Even Andre Iguodala, who was drafted right alongside West back in 2004, spoke out, reflecting on just how incredibly complex it is to actually help someone like Delana.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I want to come play with Cleveland? I was like, yeah. 3 months later, I'm starting point guard on the Cavs and throwing alley-oops to LeBron, and those memories that I'm going to have to show my son and my other one on the way.
As of November 10th, 2025, formal charges from this latest incident are still pending or unclear, leaving the basketball community and concerned fans wondering what on earth would happen next. Would prosecutors actually pursue the charges fully? Would this simply be yet another brief stint in the legal system, quickly followed by release and a return to the streets? Or would someone somewhere finally find a way to break through to Delonte West and provide the sustained, comprehensive help he so desperately needed? To understand how Delonte West ended up unconscious on a Virginia highway, needing emergency Narcan and police intervention, we need to rewind the clock and trace the entire trajectory of a basketball career that showed so much promise, but was ultimately derailed by forces far more powerful than any opponent he ever faced on the court. Delonte Maurice West was born on July 26, 1983, in Washington, D.C., growing up in Prince George's County, Maryland, in what he would later describe as happy poor, a state of poverty his family somehow navigated with incredible love and resilience. But even in childhood, there were faint warning signs of the mental health struggles that would come to define so much of his adult life. As a teenager, West grappled with severe depression, engaged in self-harm including cutting, abused prescription drugs, and even made multiple suicide attempts that resulted in stays at children's hospitals. Basketball became his sanctuary, his desperate escape from the torment raging in his mind. He later reflected on this period, saying he was basically crying for attention, but the sport truly gave him focus, purpose, and a crucial path forward. At Eleanor Roosevelt High School in Greenbelt, Maryland, West's raw talent began to absolutely shine. As a senior, he averaged an incredible 20.2 points, 6.5 rebounds, 3.9 assists, and 3.1 steals per game, leading his team to their very first Maryland 4A state tournament appearance and earning himself the prestigious Washington Post All-Met Basketball Player of the Year award. His college career at St. Joseph's University would further cement his reputation as a player with both incredible skill and undeniable heart, teaming up with Jameer Nelson to form what was widely considered one of the best backcourts in all of college basketball. West helped lead the Hawks to an astounding 27-0 regular season and a thrilling spot in the Elite Eight of the NCAA tournament during his junior year. In 2 he averaged 18.9 points and 6.7 assists per game, shooting an impressive 41% from three-point range, truly displaying the versatility and clutch gene that would make him so attractive to NBA scouts. The Boston Celtics selected West 24th overall in the 2004 NBA draft, launching what would be an 8-year professional career that saw him play for the Celtics, Seattle Supersonics, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Dallas Mavericks. Over 422 career games, he would average 9.7 points, 3.6 assists, and 2.9 rebounds per game, earning a hard-nosed reputation as a gritty defensive-minded guard who could hit big shots when his team needed them most. Over the course of his NBA career, West earned more than $16 million, a fortune that should have set him up for life but would ultimately slip right through his fingers. His most memorable years, without a doubt, came with the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he played right alongside LeBron James from 2000.
When I first got diagnosed with bipolar, my first response was, what did that mean? You know, I had to look it up on Google. And that's my first time ever hearing that. I've been told I had an emotional problem or something like that.
It was right around this time that West landed a sweet 3-year, $12.7 million contract, becoming this seriously valuable piece on a team that had its eyes on a championship. I mean, talk about clutch. On April 27th, 2008, he sank a critical three-pointer with just 5.4 seconds left in a playoff game against the Washington Wizards, practically sealing a 3-1 series lead for Cleveland. Then, in the 2008-09 season, he grabbed a career-high 8 steals in one game against the Milwaukee Bucks, showing off that defensive intensity that made him so indispensable. But here's the kicker. Even during these incredible peak years, trouble was silently bubbling right beneath the surface. In 2008, West received an official diagnosis that would change everything. Bipolar disorder, a brutal mood disorder known for its wild swings between manic highs and soul-crushing depressive lows.
Yesterday, I had my first time taking that medicine. Oh yeah, it's just that water. Once it kicked in, it just put me in a state of drowsiness that I never experienced. The court argument was, what were you under the influence of and why? All I knew is I could possibly do least that.
This diagnosis actually came after a preseason outburst where he just exploded at a referee, which then pushed him to take 2 weeks off for counseling. After that, he started on medication like Seroquel and began therapy, bravely becoming one of the very first NBA players to openly share his battle with bipolar disorder.
Happy that this matter is finally resolved and behind me. I want to thank my family, my friends, and all my fans, my teammates, and the city of Cleveland, and especially my legal counsel, who's done an amazing job of supporting me and just standing behind me through this rough time.
He once said, and this really hits home, some days I'm all the way up, like, hey. Other days I'm like, man, I'm ruining my life. Then came September 17th, 2009, a night that would instantly become infamous in West's already troubled history. Around 10 p.m. that evening, West found himself pulled over while cruising on a Can-Am Spyder, a 3-wheel motorcycle, on the Capitol Beltway. Why? He was speeding and made an unsafe lane change, cutting off a police officer. But here's where it gets truly wild. What those officers discovered during that traffic stop was absolutely shocking. West was packing a loaded Beretta 9mm semi-automatic handgun right in his waistband, a loaded Ruger 57 Magnum revolver strapped to his thigh, and get this, a loaded Remington 870 12-gauge shotgun, plus an 8-inch Bowie knife, all tucked into a guitar case slung over his back. And in his backpack, approximately 117 rounds of shotgun ammunition. Every single firearm was loaded, a blatant violation of Maryland's concealed carry laws. West later tried to explain it all, saying he'd taken his nightly dose of Seroquel and fallen asleep. His mom woke him up, furious that friends were messing with guns in his basement studio. Groggy from the meds, he just frantically grabbed the weapons and roared off on his motorcycle, trying to relocate them without properly securing or even unloading them. Ultimately, on July 15, 2010, West pleaded guilty to carrying a concealed dangerous weapon and illegally transporting a handgun.
Wasn't Delonte sleeping with LeBron's mom?
I heard.
Remember that?
Yeah,
that
I heard. Yeah, they were saying something like that because they wanted a story. They were trying to get in between. And I remember LeBron didn't say anything, had no words for it. And he learned. Like some smart people realize when there's rumors out there about you, don't feed into it.
He dodged jail time, but was slammed with an 8-month home detention sentence, complete with electronic monitoring, 2 months of supervised probation, 2 years unsupervised, 40 hours of community service, and mandatory psychological counseling and alcohol treatment. The NBA wasn't having it either, slapping him with a 10-game suspension without pay for violating their anti-drug policy. But here's the absolute most damaging controversy. It blew up in May 2010 during the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Boston Celtics. Anonymous emails started flooding sports blogs like Deadspin, all claiming West had been, let's just say, hooking up with Gloria James, LeBron's mother, for quite a while. This rumor absolutely exploded across the internet, especially after Hall of Famer Calvin Murphy went on ESPN radio and brazenly declared, "It ain't no rumor, it's absolutely true. My sources, and they're legit, tell me that the only people that didn't know it was happening was LeBron and me. The timing, catastrophic." LeBron's stats nosedived after Game 3 of that series. He went from averaging a dominant 32 points per game with over 55% shooting in the first 3 games to a struggling 21.3 points with terrible efficiency in games 4 through 6. The Cavaliers lost the series. LeBron packed up and left for Miami that summer, and West was traded away soon after.
The end of that confrontation. That's what precipitated the call to our office. Fight. The independent witness tells us that one individual struck the other with a bottle, that it was a protracted fight, and that individual who was the aggressor, again, is the person that you see on the video on the ground.
West, by the way, has vehemently denied that rumor countless times over the years. In 2023, in a truly heartbreaking video recorded while he was homeless outside a 7-Eleven, he explicitly stated, "I never ever fucked anybody's mother." But despite his denials, that rumor has clung to him, persisting and continuing to haunt West to this very day, piling yet another layer of public humiliation onto an already incredibly troubled life. His NBA career officially flatlined in October 2012 when the Dallas Mavericks waived him after 2 suspensions for conduct detrimental to the team. He was just 28 years old, and honestly, the real downward spiral was only just beginning. What followed was a cycle of desperation. After his NBA career ended, Delonte West's life plummeted into what can only be described as a living nightmare. A relentless loop of homelessness, crushing addiction, viral videos of public humiliation, fleeting moments of hope through intervention, and then devastating relapses that shattered those hopes time and again. The years that followed paint a truly devastating portrait of a man fighting brutal battles on multiple fronts: bipolar disorder, crippling substance abuse including alcohol and opioids, financial ruin despite earning over $16 million, and the complete loss of the structure and purpose that basketball had given him his entire life. The first major public red flag popped up in 2016 when photos surfaced of West aimlessly wandering barefoot outside a Jack in the Box in Houston wearing nothing but a hospital gown and muttering incoherently. Witnesses claimed he said, "I used to be Delonte West, but I'm not about that life anymore." Later that same year, he was photographed panhandling in Temple Hills, Maryland, sparking viral tweets speculating that his homelessness was directly linked to not taking his bipolar medication. The situation grew alarmingly dire in the years that followed. In 2019 and 2020, a series of absolutely disturbing videos went viral, showing West in various states of profound distress. One particularly gut-wrenching video from 2020 captured him being brutally beaten on a Maryland highway, an incident that prompted a full police investigation. The chief of police even addressed the media, revealing some truly disturbing details.
It's irresponsible for that taken by a Prince George's County police officer to be in the public's hands. And in my view, I own that. This department owns that. And that is the issue that I'm addressing principally with our community today. That's evidence, and it's irresponsible for that to be placed in the hands of the public, particularly when you start identifying individuals who are still subject to a serious assault and investigation.
He even mentioned, and what blew my mind from that report was the mention of it being shot by a Prince George's County police officer.
Snakes on my life.
What?
Man, all right.
Why'd you hit him? Did he attack you first with the self-defense, or did you hit him?
Man, I walked down the street. The man approached me with a gun.
Where's his gun at?
I don't give a fuck.
Okay. Do you know where his gun is?
I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Young champ. I'm the leader of the buck. Goddamn Navy SEALs. And the home. And the Navy. I'm what President Trump. I'm the real fucking president.
Okay.
I'm right now. I'm acting leader of the gang. What happened?
All right.
Meanwhile, another unsettling viral video from this period showed West agitated and ranting incoherently, actually claiming to be the real president and spouting a slew of other deeply delusional statements.
Delonte West. Doc Rivers, who we just talked about, reached out to him. Mark Cuban actually found him.
Yeah.
I guess there's a video that he found him like at a gas station and is trying to help him out.
These videos, as you can imagine, sparked massive concern among fans, former teammates, and the entire basketball community. But here's what's even more troubling. They also showed a man whose mental illness and addiction were being documented and shared for millions to witness, often without any real effort to actually help him. The person who finally stepped up most prominently was Mark Cuban, the billionaire owner of the Dallas Mavericks, who West had played for during the 2011 and 12 season. In September 2020, after gut-wrenching photos of West, homeless and panhandling in Dallas surfaced, Cuban personally tracked him down at a gas station, bravely reunited him with his mother, and completely funded his treatment at the Rebound Institute in Florida, a rehab facility actually owned by another former NBA player, Jason Williams.
Basketball, for some it's just something to do. For me, it's been a lifestyle. You know, living a life with mental illness, they call it. I like to say mental superpower. Basketball always was my escape.
Initially, and this offered a glimmer of hope, there were clear signs of progress. By January 2021, West had actually landed a job at the Rebound Institute and had happily reunited with his family. Reports were glowing, describing him as doing well and finally on a positive path forward.
How hard is it to see someone that played for you struggle with
brutal
mental health illness?
Brutal. Right, because I thought we had him. I thought we had him turned around. You know, we sent him down to Jason's place down in Florida, and it's like a farm, Jason Williams, and you know, he's making progress, sending pictures. Dante's emailing me, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're getting this. Then Dante throws his shit over the fence, disappears. We bring him back again, making progress. This is it. Same shit.
For a brief, hopeful moment, it truly seemed like maybe, just maybe, this time everything would be different. But the cruel, inescapable reality of addiction and untreated mental illness quickly reasserted itself. West relapsed multiple times, with Cuban later revealing the heartbreaking pattern. West would make progress, only to then throw his stuff over the fence and disappear.
Hi, Mark. All right, really quickly.
Okay,
so do you think that this would be an MVP season for Luka?
Yeah, absolutely. He's an MVP candidate. He's probably the leading candidate.
Thank you, guys.
The kid is just so incredibly talented, great kid. I mean, he's ready.
And you know, we have to ask you, have you been in contact with Delonte West? How is he doing?
I have been, and you know, he's got to want to help himself first. You know, I tried. I know it's tough on him, but I wish him nothing but the best.
Right? Does it like it's like the same? Any better? Just
no, it's a struggle for him. I mean, addiction is awful, and you know, mental illness is awful, and you know, he's at the point in his life where he's got to want to be helped.
Cuban, reflecting on the situation, put it simply, only so much you can do. He funded even more rehabilitation stints, but each one, heartbreakingly, seemed to follow that same devastating pattern. Eventually, Cuban made the incredibly difficult decision to stop providing direct financial support, and he's been really clear about the tough lessons from this story, emphasizing in multiple interviews his deep compassion for West, but also the harsh reality that outside help can only go so far. As he wisely said, you know, mental illness is real. It is real, and you just don't wish it away. You don't just rehab it away.
But I actually just got back from China, played over there in the CBA for the last 5 months, so just working out every day, getting myself prepared, staying ready, praying that one of these NBA teams will give me a call.
All right, come on, watch the game, man. Who you rooting for, man? Chicago or New York, dog?
Got a lot of incidents, and most of them are not on the court, you know. There's nothing to do with basketball. It's just my personality, and my mouth gets me in trouble at times, but I haven't hurt anybody. I haven't killed anybody.
Cuban has also been incredibly explicit about West's bipolar disorder, directly stating he has a sickness, he's bipolar, it's a struggle for him. Addiction is awful, and mental illness is awful. And sadly, the relapses just kept coming throughout 2022 and beyond. In October 2022, West was arrested again in Fairfax County, Virginia, for vehicle trespassing, trying to get into a stranger's car, fleeing police, and public intoxication. During this period, more viral videos popped up, showing West panhandling on Richmond Highway in Alexandria, Virginia, just lingering around 7-Eleven stores, accepting dollar bills from strangers. When TMZ approached him, he reportedly claimed he was in between jobs and trying to support his children.
The police in Maryland got suspended for locking Jesus up. Obama said, let the man free. I'm Jesus. I was better than LeBron James. I'm better than Jordan.
But here's the kicker. The most disturbing incident prior to that November 2025 arrest actually happened in October 2021, when West was arrested at the Boynton Beach Police Department in Florida. The body cam footage from this arrest, later released by TMZ, showed West arriving at the police station completely intoxicated, banging on glass doors while openly clutching a can of Ice House beer in one hand and an open bottle of vodka in the other. What happened next was captured in absolutely disturbing detail on that police body cam footage. You can hear him saying things like, "What did I do? No. Open container. Okay, start with that. No, I did them with this. Yeah, they opened it. I got the code. They stopped 10 minutes. I don't know you were talking to me at all, but okay, it's plenty of people, Shag. What? 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 You've got to have your fog gig. Fog gig. You looking in there like you never did, you? I'm Jesus, and you are sending right now, I know. And for what you're doing, you just gave up your chances of going to heaven. I came here to save you and help you I'm the President of the United States. What's your name, man? Your president is Jesus. I'm a sock and I'm a president of the United States, too. Right? I'm the real president. What's the name? You're a comedian with the commander-in-the-chief. Axel Obama. Axel's a fog gag. Trump. Ambrightum. You suck a fog gag. Damn name. I just called you the Shuggy. Too genius. They were harassing me and they were trying to kill me. The rant just continued, with West using homophobic slurs, genuinely claiming to be Jesus Christ, confidently declaring he was better than LeBron James and Michael Jordan, and making countless other deeply delusional statements.
So Delonte West went and joined the Supersonics.
Yeah, Delonte West went to the Supersonics. Yeah, in that trade.
Did you know Delonte at all during your career?
Yeah, it's my boy.
Okay. When you see him now, how do you feel?
I always seen demons in him.
Really?
Yeah.
He was
always seen demons.
He was always like that.
He was always somebody that was, you could tell had demons, came from a struggle, fighting every day. Like I could tell.
He even exclaimed, "I was the big taker. I pray every show is getting back to you. Shut the f*** up." What the hell? The Holy Spirit states, you dumb f***. West ultimately faced charges for resisting an officer without violence, disorderly intoxication, and open container violations. He pleaded not guilty on November 8, 2021, but by December that year, he agreed to a plea deal, pay a $100 fine, and stay out of trouble with new arrests, and the prosecutors would drop the more serious charges. Throughout all of this, former teammates and NBA figures alike have voiced both deep concern and growing frustration. Glenn Big Baby Davis, who was actually traded for West and later became his teammate, offered a particularly somber perspective.
Playing with him, did you get any inkling of he might have some issues, or was he pretty much just completely clean back then?
No, he had his you know, he had his mental challenges, I would say, at the time. Already, when we was playing for the Boston Celtics, they had got him his own, like, I don't want to say, therapist that used to travel with us and all this type of stuff. He was super funny though, like super funny dude, super lighthearted, like a comedian. Like I didn't see him turning over to drugs like this, but he was already like, you know, smoking blacks and shit like that.
And Sebastian Telfair, who shared the court with West on the Boston Celtics, chimed in, giving us even more context about West's struggles, even back when he was actively playing in the NBA.
Well, speaking of stray sightings, bro, Delonte West has been spotted out and like a fucking zombie.
I ain't got nothing to say, man.
Delonte West, man, I wish he could get it together, but clearly this man has issues.
He has issues, man. He's sick, man.
Beyond money ain't gonna fix his issues.
No,
a job is not gonna fix. He has mental issues.
He has mental issues
and
be in a
demons.
Institution.
Yeah.
I don't advocate for nobody to be, but he needs to be in an institution.
Clearly,
man. He's gonna hurt somebody as well as himself.
He that ought to go to Bishop Whitehead Church.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not making fun of you, Delonte. It's crazy to see somebody at those heights.
The pattern, as you can clearly see, has been horrifyingly consistent and devastating. It's a cruel loop. Brief moments of stability, immediately followed by relapse, then an arrest, then more viral videos, a fresh wave of public concern, another intervention attempt, and then heartbreakingly, the cycle just begins anew. In 2024 alone, West was slammed with multiple arrests in Fairfax County. We're talking a March 17th felony drug possession charge, a June 6th arrest for resisting and violating pretrial conditions, where get this, he was found unresponsive and needed Narcan twice, and then a November trespassing arrest. Public reactions, honestly, have been all over the map, swinging wildly from genuine concern to shockingly cruel mockery. You even hear some people saying things like go to work, do so low, and then just like that, November 3rd, 2025 arrived. The latest, heartbreaking chapter in this ongoing tragedy, found unconscious on Richmond Highway, needing Narcan to literally save his life, arrested for public intoxication and resisting for his own safety, and then released on bond with charges still hanging over him. His story has morphed into what many heartbreakingly call a cautionary tale about the brutal intersection of mental illness, addiction, and the overwhelming challenges that retired athletes face. But honestly, it's so much more than just a cautionary tale. It's a stark indictment of a system that utterly fails to provide consistent, comprehensive support for individuals battling the dual diagnosis of bipolar disorder and substance abuse. It's a potent reminder that simply throwing money at the problem, as incredibly generous as Cuban's efforts have been, just isn't enough without the willing participation of the person in crisis, and a truly robust support structure that can actually withstand the inevitable relapses. The real tragedy of Delonte West is that his story didn't have to end this way. With proper sustained mental health care, comprehensive addiction treatment, and a dedicated support system ready to weather those inevitable relapses, West's life might have taken a completely different path. And he stands as a living, breathing reminder of just how quickly a life can unravel when mental illness and addiction are left untreated, and how even millions of dollars and the best intentions of caring individuals sometimes simply aren't enough to save someone who is drowning in their own demon. Thank you for watching. For more deep dives like this, just tap the suggested cards popping up on your screen right now.